almost 30 people sitting in this room today, and the majority of Armenians in Glendale, to bring forth some points for your consideration. We are all Armenian American citizens in this beautiful city, county, state, and nation. We only dream that one day our families and friends can have those true democratic rights as we do in our motherland, Armenia. We know that you are all advocates for human rights. We are here tonight to ask you to be an advocate for human rights in Armenia with your important voices. You are the role model for Armenia that has yet to rise out of dictatorship and communism. You can influence the leadership to take roads towards democracy and end corruption. You have graciously accepted two sister cities in Armenia, Gyumri and Ghapan, and thus the welfare of the citizens of those cities are a responsibility you carry. So you must lead and speak up, since within your agreements, 3 of you are obligated to share problems and solutions to the daily city activities. What we are asking of you tonight is to stand with us and reaffirm the tenets of democracy for all in the world, including Armenia. To speak up and let it be known that corruption in any format is not acceptable, and that you and the citizens in this community and Armenia cannot be fooled. Offer your expertise to the government, who cannot and should not be leading with options to support them on how to step down and out of their seats in the government. Give them a lesson on election fraud, because the top leadership, including President Serge Sarkisian, was never elected by the people. Thus, it cannot serve the people. Especially that he is a drug-addicted person, and a simple blood test would eliminate him from being president. Help us give the message to the council here in Glendale that cheating, lying, stealing, curtailing human rights will not be tolerated, and that they are an embarrassment to our Armenian American community here in Glendale. Speak up against holding peaceful demonstrators. Speak up against police brutality. Speak up against jailing oppositional leaders. Different views are a part of a true democracy. So I ask of you to lend a helping hand and not stay indifferent. Thank you for your time and attention, for giving us a platform to express our frustrations in a peaceful manner, for being a true model of democracy and listening to your citizens. We are truly grateful for your time. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Madam Mayor, good evening, Councilor. My name is Saad Mikalian. In 1995, I've been granted political asylum here in California. 21 years later, we are in 2016. Unfortunately, nothing changed in my motherland, and it turns worse. The government tried to turn Armenia into the bloody hell, just like it happened in Syria. We need your support that you can send your hospitality here, the Armenian embassy right here in Glendale. It's been 7 consecutive days. We've been marching there, trying to send our voices to the government through the embassy. We've been ignored by the embassy, we've been ignored by the press, we've been ignored by the TV. That's why we're here, to send our message. We need your support. We don't want to see another political prisoners and the people in fear of their life flee the country just like we did, and it's been going on for the last 25 years. This should be stopped. People deserve to have a freedom of speech and rights, to have a decent life. That's all I have to say, and I'm demanding you guys, make your statement and send it to the embassy, which is right here at the corner of Glendale. Thank you very much.
I just want to say that I appreciate all of you staying for as long as I know you've been here since, at least before 6 o'clock. So I can feel how passionate you are about what you were saying. I don't know if any of my other council
I'll
members
comment.
would like to before.
Sure. No, needless to say, I've been following what's been happening in Armenia over the last, what is it, about 10 days, 9 days, since the 17th. And I'm very troubled by it. I just came back from Armenia about 2 weeks ago. So to say that this was a surprise to me would be a lie. But you know, I can make statements and express myself about how I feel about what's happening in Armenia, but why do that when I've done that on numerous occasions throughout the years? There isn't a TV station in Armenia, there isn't a newspaper that I haven't given interviews to every time I visit Armenia, which is every year, in which I have not raised my concerns about the lack of democracy, about the lack of transparency, about the corruption, about the migration. I've spoken about these issues over and over and over, and I did again this June when I was there. So this is very dear to my heart. It hurts when it's happening, and it's very sad. Obviously, democracy is the highest value that needs to be fostered and protected in Armenia, and it's not, unfortunately. And I'll tell you that I've personally met with the Nakhachuratan board, everyone, with Bagjan, with Jirai, with all, I know these guys personally. So I'm very saddened by what's happening. I understand that there was a police stormed the building today, and it's not clear how many casualties there are. So I'm just hoping this comes to an end, and the country goes back on a democratic path, and its people are treated fairly.
I appreciate the speakers coming forward, and I hope that you realize that although our hearts may be with you, there's really very limited action that the City of Glendale Council can take. This is truly dealing with foreign affairs, as well as the internal affairs of Armenia. But I can assure you that during my most recent visit to Armenia, which was last July, about a year ago, that I did meet with the president. And during that time, if you recall, the Electric Armenia protests were just underway. It was the day after they had used some forceful means to try and disperse the crowd. And I told the president, although I'm hesitant to reveal everything that our discussion was about, but I just gave him some anecdotal evidence about the value of an open democracy, where residents from the public can come and criticize their leaders. And in a sense, I told the president that that makes your government stronger. And I told him that every week we sit here at City Council and we are condemned by certain members of the public. We're accused of being corrupt, of being unfair, of being unlawful, of being criminals. But it's through those expressions of opinion that ideas are exchanged and emotions can be released. I also spoke to the mayor of Yerevan, to Daron Markarian, with whom I'm very close, and expressed the same thing, that heavy-handed means of controlling, trying to control and eradicate public opinion is a way of backfiring. And to the extent that I, as an individual, could express that, these are the elements of democracy that we all believe in. It's not something special that the city of Glendale has. It's just our system here in the United States. I didn't feel that it was my position to point out corruption, because we have corruption in the United States. It wasn't my place to point out that some elections are rigged. We've heard about how some elections can be rigged just recently during the Democratic National Convention. But in terms of human rights and being fair with the people, I expressed my opinions. I will continue to do so. I know that all of us, when we travel, express those same sentiments to anyone who will listen. The important thing is that we hope and pray that that the message that the gentleman wanted to bring out about their displeasure with the way the government's being run is being resolved in a peaceful manner, and that any discourse be done without violence and with open ears and open minds by everyone.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I'd like to thank all of you for coming over here as well. I just came back from Armenia to, the reason for our travel was christening of my daughter, my third daughter. We had two that were baptized in Armenia in the mother church, and it was a resolution home to do the same for our third child. And 2 days after we come back, this incident's happened, which is very unfortunate. I also met with the mayor of Yerevan and also the Ministry of Diaspora in Armenia, and we express our feelings every time about the democracy, about the human rights. And there is so much we can do from here, from this dais, to change anything in Armenia. But my hope is that this will be end peacefully, because when you look at, when you watch these videos on YouTube, and you look at the faces of the soldiers or the police officers who are standing against their people, you can feel the pain. So we just hope that they don't want to be there. There's so much going on, and these things will take time. Democracy doesn't come easy. It doesn't come. It will take time. I know 20 years is a long time, but it's not a long time. Armenia is a new country. It's been, 25 years since its independence, and we do what we can do. We share your pain and your feelings, but there is so much we can do from this dais to change anything in the government of Armenia. People of Armenia will decide. People always decide. The middle class, the average working class, will decide what has to happen in Armenia. And sorry.
Why people of your city? You can come and stand with us there when we are
Okay,
set up
okay,
in
I'm
Roma.
sorry. So that's all I have to say, Madam Mayor, and we share your pain and that's all I have to say.
Just want to add a little thing about the issue of the sister cities. Yes, we are sister cities with 2 cities in Armenia. And Gyumri is relatively new, it's about 2 years old. And Gyumri is probably the most severely impacted city in Armenia because of not only the economic collapse, but also the earthquake. So the idea with becoming sister cities with Gyumri was to create some kind of positive relationship, help them out in that sense. So that relationship is very new and it's yet to be tested. In terms of Bahan, if you've noticed the last 12 years that sister city relationship was created, there's been nothing happening in the last 5 years. Nothing. That relationship is very weak right now. And I'll tell you frankly, 2 years ago when Armenia's prime minister asked me to reunite, I told him, I said, so long as Liska is the governor of Sunik, I can't convince the people of Glendale to support this relationship in a robust manner. And that's true. So long as people like Sunik Khachaturian are ruling in that area, I can't see it happening.
So I think the takeaway here is the fact that you have council members here that really care and hope for a safe resolution to this issue. But we do what we can do, whenever we are in Armenia, we try to contact, be in touch with, as you can hear, the elected officials there. But again, we do what we can do, and our hearts are with you and our prayers. Hope that this gets resolved soon. So sorry. Thank you.
Mike Moyo here. Next.